guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with the next update for my Panda palette, and this year I am panning my Modern Renaissance palette, as you might know. I think this is update number 7, so we are over halfway through the year, and I'm actually pretty happy with where I am with this palette. I am not sure if I will be able to finish every single shade. I'm really hoping I will, but yeah, I'm really happy with the progress, and I do have a really good update today as well, so I'm excited to jump into it. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's just jump into the video. So as always, I'm going to put up the picture right here of where I was last month. I already had 3 shades finished in the palette, as you can see, and I had pretty good progress on a couple more shades. And yeah, that was where I was last month, but this is where I am with my palette today. So you can see the overview right here, and let me just go through each shade in order. So quickly, the first 3 eyeshadows in the palette have been done previously. The first one I finished was Vermeer, which was the 3rd shade. Then I finished Tempera, which is the 1st shade, and then last update I finished Golden Ochre, which is the 2nd shade in the palette. So those 3 are already done. Moving forward, we have the shade Bon Fresco, which is this mauve toned right here. And in the last month, I have actually used this shade 24 times, which is really good. I don't know how much the pan expanded, but it's definitely gotten thinner around the edges. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera. But I have actually found a way to use this eyeshadow. I have been using this as a contour, like a very light contour. I use it very lightly. Use it at the back right here. I didn't actually put it on today because I forgot, but I have used it 24 times quite often, and it's just a nice way to use this eyeshadow because it isn't really a shade that I like reaching for very much, especially in summer. I don't mind it too much in winter, but since we're not in winter right now, you need to find another way to use this, and I actually quite like it that way, so I'm going to continue using it that way and hopefully have some good progress on it. I don't think I'm going to finish it that way anytime soon because again, I use quite a little amount each time I use it that way, but I do have some really good progress. So that is Bon Fresco. Next up, we have the shade Antique Bronze, which was my focus eyeshadow for the last month. Last month I can introduce a new rule to this project, I guess, where I have a focus eyeshadow each month, and that eyeshadow I want to reach for as much as possible, ideally 10 times or more. And this last month I introduced Antique Bronze as that, and I have reached for it 11 times, which is really good, and that is what it looks like now. I'm hoping that the pan has expanded a little bit, but it has definitely been like lowered around the dip as well, because before it was very concentrated dip and there wasn't really like any movement around the actual pan, but now the dip has gotten like wider, which is really good. And like I said, I used that one 11 times, which is really good because in total in the year previously I had used it 7 times, so that's really good, and I'm really happy with that, and I'm excited that I roll it in as a focus eyeshadow. And I also found some ways that I really enjoyed wearing it, especially as like a deepening up shade. I really like it that way. It's quite cool toned, but it does work with most looks, which is how I mainly used it. So yeah, I'm going to continue using it that way, although it's not my focus shade anymore. Next up, we have Love Letter, which I did not use at all in the past month. I've been focusing on a different shade, which you might be able to see in the progress picture. We're going to get to that later, but yeah, I didn't use this one at all. And then lastly, on the top row, we have Cypress Umber, which I did use twice. I don't think you're going to be able to see any movement on the pan, maybe a tiny bit, but not too much. This is another shade that I really need to start using more, but yeah, 2 used on Cypress Umber. Moving on to the second row, we have the first shade Raw Sienna, which is actually a shade that I have reached for quite a bit in the past month. This is another one that I hadn't really reached for very much previously, but I did use it 10 times in the past month. Previously I have mainly focused on Burnt Orange, but this past month I wanted a break from that and wanted to reach for Raw Sienna a little bit. And also, since I finished Golden Ochre, this is kind of the more yellow toned brown in the palette, and I have been enjoying that quite a bit. So I did, like I said, reach for it 10 times, and I'm hoping you can see the pan expanded a little bit. But again, I have definitely widened the dip similar to what I did in Antique Bronze. So that is Raw Sienna. When it comes to Burnt Orange, which is the shade next to it, I did have a little bit of a break from this one because I have used it very consistently throughout the whole year. But in the past month I only used it twice. I think this is going to be one that I focus on quite a bit next month because I want to finish it, and I think it's the next eyeshadow in the palette that I can finish. And maybe not next month, but hopefully in 2 months time, so I'm going to focus in on this one again in the next month. Then next to that we we had the shade Primavera, which is this eyeshadow right here. This one I was actually able to finish in the past month. I used an additional 17 times to finish it. The way I used it mainly was as a face highlighter, because it wasn't a very impactful eyeshadow anymore. Even as an inner corner highlight, it was a little bit dull for me, so I did use it mainly as a face highlighter, and I really enjoyed it that way, especially when I had a bit more of a tan right now. So yeah, that's Primavera is now gone, and it is the 4th eyeshadow that I have finished in this palette. So moving forward to the next eyeshadow, which is Red Ochre. This one I did not use at all in the past month either, because again I was focusing on different eyeshadow, which is actually next to it, which is the shade Venetian Red. This one was one that I wanted to finish. That was one of my goals for the last month, and I did actually do so. I'm really happy. It took quite a while though. I did use it an additional 15 times in the past month, which is quite a bit for such a, like, it's not a super neutral shade. It's a bit, you know, brighter. It's, you know, I had that pinky red undertone to it, so definitely not the easiest shade to incorporate in every single day, but I did use it quite a bit, and when I did use it I used a lot of it, because I usually pack this all over my lid as a base and then topped it with different shimmers, which meant a lot of, like, you know, burgundy toned smoky eyes in the past month. But I did finish it, which was my goal, and I'm very happy with that. I did actually finish Venetian Red and Primavera on the same day, and that was a really good panning day. I finished those two, and I also hit one pan, so I was very happy with that day. And again, that one is done. I didn't actually have a goal to finish Primavera, but I did do so anyway. My main goal was to focus on Venetian Red, but I'm happy that both of them are gone. Then we have the shade Warm Taupe, which is this one here. This is one that I use very consistently, because I do use it in my brows, and I did use it 28 times in the past month, so you probably see a little bit of movement on it. I have been focusing on kind of lowering the sides and not just focusing on the dip, so or sorry, on the pan. So I don't know how much the pan actually has expanded, because again I have been lowering the sides, but I can tell it's getting lower, which is really exciting, and I'm going to continue using it, and I definitely think this will be done by the end of the year. Then lastly in the palette we have the shade Realgar, which is this orange shade right here. I did use this one twice, so not too much, but again this is one I'm going to focus on in the next upcoming month. So that is where I am with my palette now. Again, I'm really happy with where I am. I have finished 5 eyeshadows, and some of them have really good big pans. Yeah, before this update I was a bit worried about actually finishing this, but when I finished those 2 shades, can you see, like, you know, the progress on this palette, and I think there might be a chance that I can finish it. The eyeshadows that I'm mainly worried about, the one eyeshadow is Love Letter right here, especially because I'm a bit burnt out on that type of color, because it is very similar to Venetian Red, and I haven't really used it very much at all in this project. I think I used it in the first month maybe once or twice, but then I haven't used it at all. But I'm going to start using that in the next month. Maybe not so much, because I need a little bit of break from those type of colors, but moving forward I'm going to focus on that eyeshadow too, so hopefully I can get that one out. But when it comes to goals for next month, the new focus eyeshadow that I'm going to roll in is actually going to be Realgar right here. I think that's a perfect kind of shade between summer and autumn, and I think that's going to be a really nice shade to reach for now in August. And hopefully I can get some good movement on it, because I do have a decent sized pan, but I haven't reached for it as much as I wanted to this summer, so that's why I'm rolling this one in. So hopefully I can get, you know, minimum 10 uses on that in the upcoming month. And apart from that, I also want to focus on Burnt Orange. I actually think this one will go really well with Realgar, so I think that's going to be a good shout to roll in. Again, I don't think I will be able to finish it in the next month, but I want to get really good progress on it so that I can at least finish it in 2 months time. Yeah, so that is going to be the second one I want to focus on. What else? I mean, I want to continue using Bon Fresco like I have, so hopefully get some more movement on that as a contour shade. And then again, I just want to focus on Cypress Umber a bit more. I keep forgetting to reach for this shade. It's one that I have added as like a, you know, not a focus eyeshadow, because again, I'm just gonna have one, which is Realgar, but like one that I want to use more. But I just keep forgetting to reach for it. I don't really, I don't know, I don't really love super smoky looks. And this one is quite a smoky shade, but I think what I'm going to do is start using it as an eyeliner and mix it with Duraline, because I think I can get some good progress on it that way. And also, you know, get it a bit more kind of, you know, as a wing rather than like a smoky lash line or anything like that. So I'm going to play around with Cypress Umber and hopefully get some progress on that one too. But again, my main focus eyeshadow will be Realgar. So that is where I am with my palette today. I hope you enjoyed this update. Again, it was probably my best update so far, because I did finish those 2 eyeshadows, and I think moving forward I will be able to finish you know, a few more in the next couple of months. I'm hoping to, in the next, you know, month or two, finish burnt orange, and then maybe in like 3 months time I might be able to finish blonde fresco if I keep using it as a contour. And yeah, I just want to continue getting, you know, more dips on the rest, because the rest I'm not too close to finishing. Maybe, you know, warm taupe I'm closest to finish, but since I use so little every day, I think it's gonna take majority of the year to finish. And then once I have burnt orange out, I can also finish on I can also focus on raw sienna, which I don't think is going to be any issues to finish either. So yeah, that is where I am today. I hope you enjoyed this update, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and otherwise I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.